Hey there clan, Scottish Warrior Nature here, and welcome to another WION review. In today's WION review, I'm going to be answering the simple question: is The Hobbit, the movie, worth it or not? Oh, I got the title wrong already. It's A Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. Well, it's here, finally. Well, I don't think there's much else I got to say on this. I had said in the video ago that I was reading The Hobbit because I really wanted to read the book before I saw the film. Now, I'm not going to be reviewing the book. I'm merely going to be... I just used this as an example to show you what I'm going to be reviewing. But I'm going to be reviewing the movie, not the book. And really, the book has the best blob ever. Bilbo Baggins is a hobbit who is enjoying a comfortable, unambitious life, rarely travelling further than the pantry of his own hobbit hole in Bag End. But his contentment... Fuck it, I'm shit at this. But I don't really think I need to explain the plot of The Hobbit. We all know it, basically, because most people have already read The Hobbit or have at least no vague interest in it, but I will try and do that. Our tale follows the character of Bilbo Baggins and 13 dwarfs as they go towards a lonely mountain, can't remember the name of the place, to reclaim it for the dwarves. That's the plot in a summary. I don't want to go too much into it because I do not want to spoil it for anyone who is planning on going to see it. So I will be avoiding spoilers as much as I possibly can. I will mention maybe one or two, but I won't be mentioning any major plot ones. But I think the main question a lot of people are going to be have been asking me, is The Hobbit a faithful adaptation? Because I'm a person that's very iffy on my adaptations. I made a goal recently that if an adaptation is coming out in any way, shape or form, normally I would only do games or maybe TV series adaptations, but now I'm doing books. Like if an adaptation of a book's coming out and I'm interested in it, I'll actually read the source material first. And I've done that with The Hobbit. So yeah, it is actually a very faithful adaptation. I'm going to get that right out of the way. The Hobbit is actually a very faithful adaptation. They take liberties when needed, but I won't go too much into that. But I may as well tell you a little bit about my experience with the Tolkien mythos, if you will, with the Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. I love the Lord of the Rings films. They are some of my favourite fantasy movies I've ever seen. I never read the books. I am mainly a movie guy. I do know someone who is basically obsessed with the books, so he has explained a lot to me, including all the stuff that they missed out in great detail, so it has been a bane of my existence for a while. But I didn't see any of the Lord of the Rings in the pictures. I saw them all on DVD. I was never a big picture moviegoer, so I didn't see these ones in the pictures, which I kind of regret now. But I love them, they're enjoyable, and I don't know, I'm never going to review them because everything's been said about them. But really there's one thing, the reason I talk about the Lord of the Rings is because I've been hearing a lot of complaints about The Hobbit. And I'm fucking sick of it, I'm going to be honest. The main critique that I've been hearing from a lot of professional critics is that The Hobbit, the prequel to Lord of the Rings, is nothing like Lord of the Rings. No fucking shit, Sherlocks! Did you get your degree in primary? Look, I can tell you right now, I've only read the first... Actually, this has the first chapter of the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings in it, so I've read the first chapter, and even from the first chapter alone, you can tell that The Hobbit is nothing like Lord of the Rings, in tone-wise and how it's told. The tone of The Hobbit is completely different from the Lord of the Rings, so here's what I gotta say, people. Stop fucking comparing it to Lord of the Rings, okay? The Hobbit is its own story. It may be in the same universe, but remember, this came first. The Lord of the Rings came after. Jeez, shut and fuck up about that. Ugh, really pisses me off that bit. I really hate that complaint. So I've kind of rambled on, so I might as well get to what I thought of the movie. I loved it. I'm going to get rid of that. I loved this film. It was awesome. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to get the easiest thing out there. This film is 3 hours long. It's 169 minutes. And go on day 69 jokes, I don't care. So I can tell you right now that if you don't have the patience to sit through a 3-hour film in the cinema, don't go. Because you will definitely not like it for that part. I'll happily admit, I didn't actually know it was 3 hours. I thought it was like 2.5 hours, but it's 3 hours. I was in the cinema for 3 hours watching that film. And I'll tell you right now, I've got one advanced tip. Get a bladder of steel or you are gubbed. Because trust me, you will not be able to hold your toilet for 3 hours. Hold the piss, sorry. I'll tell you right now, you're not going to be able to hold a piss for 3 hours. Trust me, I tried. I had to go to the bathroom 3 times in this cinema. I missed some minor bits, but I was very cautious with that. But really, I gotta say a lot about this film. Is I gotta give an applause to Peter Jackson. He did a fantastic job with this, and all the cast of that. Not only was the movie well struck, really well done in my eyes. I loved it. It was really well done. The actors done a fantastic job. It was nice to see some familiar faces as well, like Gandalf, Galadriel, Saruman, Aerodine, I think his name is, the Agent Smith, basically. I'm not going to say who else. There is someone else in it at the start of the film, but I don't want to say who it is because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But I loved every bit of it. It was absolutely fantastic. It was really a great looking film as well. And I did see it in 3D. I don't know if I saw it in the 48 frames per second. I'm going to say this right now. You don't need to see it in 3D to get the experience of The Hobbit. It's still a great film. See it in 2D, 3D, whatever. But I will say one thing. Don't fucking see it in D-Box. For those who don't know, D-Box is basically in the cinema. In the cinema now, they have this seat that's like like a roller coaster simulator that moves and gyrates as the movie goes on. Don't see it in that. It's fucking a waste of money. I tried it out and I was nearly sick. Ow. Fuck. But I loved every bit of it. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed the hell out of this film. It was really well done. I loved Bilbo Baggins. He was awesome. I really can't remember the actor's name. Gandalf was awesome. The main dwarf, Theron, I keep mispronouncing his name, was really okay. He was okay. He was good enough for me to say he's good. The rest of the dwarves I'll get to in a minute, but everything else I've got to say, I can't really say that much bad about this film. It was really, really good. I enjoyed every minute of it. It was fun. It was enjoyable. I was besides having to go to the toilet because it was a 3-year long fucking film, I was glued to my seat. I literally could not. I wanted to see what happened next. I loved every minute of it. But I'm going to say this right now. There are a lot of even though I loved this film, I loved every bit of it. There were at least 6 people in my cinema who fell asleep. I'm not kidding. I heard snoring. And I think the main problem with that is that it's a 3-year long film, and really some aspects of some scenes in the film really shouldn't really be. And I loved them in it, but from someone else's point of view, like maybe a couple other people who I talked, one person I talked to in the cinema as we were leaving, they basically said that they fell asleep because it got boring at some point and it was just too long. And really, I can see why they did that, why they said that, but I didn't. I loved it. I'm one of these people that loves extended cutted movies. I love seeing everything of a movie, special features, all that shit. I love that shit. I love extended cut movies. They are awesome. I want to see everything that was made in that picture in all its glory. And I can tell right now, there's probably stuff in The Hobbit that we haven't seen yet, but I loved every scene of this thing. But I will say this right now, you're going to have to be a wee bit patient at the start of the film. I didn't think it was. A lot of the complaints from people that say that I've been hearing as well is that the first act of the movie is kind of slow. I didn't think it was slow. I think I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy every act of the film. But I can see how some people might have found it boring. But I don't get how. But because it's basically the first act is exposition. A lot of it. It's basically just getting everything set up for the journey, which is always awesome. I think it was awesome. I loved that bit. I loved the build-up, I loved the second act, I loved the third act. It was bloody awesome, I'm going to say that right now. I can't praise this film enough, can I? But I don't think there's much else I can say about it besides it was really good. I enjoyed every minute of it. I don't think there was anything I didn't like about this film. Oh, there are a few things, but they're mainly nitpicks and wee minor things, but nothing extreme. But I'll also say this one thing. Even though I stated that this is set before The Hobbit, this is set. The Hobbit is set before Lord of the Rings, which so a lot of people don't seem to realise. You kind of still need to see the Lord of the Rings films to understand it. Like they in the movie they do subtle nods to the Lord of the Rings, to like the lead up to the Lord of the Rings, because I think if Peter Jackson could have had it, he would have had the Hobbit first. But there's subtle little hints with certain objects in the thing, subtle little hints, suppose, the Dark Lord and all that, to build up the tension for Lord of the Rings, which I will say is you have to see Lord of the Rings before you see The Hobbit, otherwise you won't get everything. But as it is, you will feel kind of lost, I'm not going to lie. I've seen the films a dozen times, so I know. But it just everything seemed almost flawless in the film. Almost, not completely flawless, but I loved it. I'm just as I say, that's the kind of person I am. I love the extended cut of films. I love seeing everything that was meant to be in the film. Even if it's boring or not, I love Expedition. I love the build up. I loved all that. I loved all the characters. Everything was fantastic. I loved it. The action sequences also were really good. It's very swashbuckler. I did hear someone say it was very swashbuckler. Like, there is a couple of comedy bits in it, but you have to understand that The Hobbit, the book, is actually a children's book. It was meant to be a children's book, and it is technically still. So The Hobbit has to be a bit more childish in that instance. It's that a lot of people sometimes seem to get as well, is that the tone of the film does go all over the place. At some points, it's a comedy, which is really funny. I loved it. There's a lot of great scenes I don't want to spoil that were absolutely fantastic. A lot of them are on YouTube already. A couple of the clips from Bilbo's hut, and also one or two other scenes, but they're really well done, and I loved the comedy in it. And then all of a sudden, it switches to a tone of epinics, and then drama, and then tension. The tones are a bit all over the place, but I loved it for that because it's actually very faithful to the book. And I loved it for that. I read the book recently, so I do remember a good chunk, but I don't remember all of it. But the book is the exact same. The book does actually switch tones quite rapidly in some instances. Like at the start of the book, it's very comedy. Next part of the book, the second part of the book, it's maybe a bit more dramatic, but still a bit funny. And then the third part of the book, it gets a bit more epic. And that's why I will say, like, the tone does go all over the place, but I fucking loved that. It was awesome. I enjoyed every bit of it. What else did I like? I'm trying to think what else like. I love the stuff that they added and the stuff they didn't put in. There are a few stuff that are missing from the book, but I don't want to spend too long judging it compared to the book. Let's just say it's a faithful adaptation. But they did the stuff that they added from the book, added to the story for the book, is really awesome. Like, I can spoil this a little bit. This is a major spoiler, but in the book, the dwarf's main reason to get to where Smaug is, to the dwarven city that's been taken by him, is to get their gold. The dwarves are greedy bastards in this. In the movie, it's to get them back, it's to reclaim their home. I like that little change. That was actually kind of nice. There's also other couple bits that are restructured and also different things that are added, but that's nitpicking. But I enjoyed it. It was really, really good. I liked that bit. Now I'm going to get to the parts that I didn't like. There isn't a lot. Like, I will say this one thing. The CG was a wee bit iffy for me. Some CG was really bad. Like, some of the CG did not look that good. They even done some CG to Gandalf's face in some instances. They didn't do it throughout the whole film, but they done it at some points in the film where he looked very anime. He looked like an anime fucking character, which was creepy as hell. I didn't like that. Also some far out shots where you can obviously tell it's fucking like CGI figures. Excuse me, were fucking horrible, I'm not gonna lie. And I was like, you couldn't have done a bit better. I mean, the ones in the Lord of the Rings were awesome. What happened between then? Another thing that kind of was as the dwarfs. Like, even though the dwarfs aren't really anything but comic relief and stereotypes. You won't remember their names. Like, I can't even remember I'll remember Tharon or Thorin, and even that barely remembers name. Even though I've read the book and it has all their names in here, like, I could probably find it somewhere, but I'm not going to bother because I can't remember all 13 dwarf names. A lot of them are just there for comic relief or just to be there, like to be faithful to the book. A lot of them don't really have a place, have a particular point, have any impact to the story. You will remember them by their traits. Like, there's one with a slingshot, there's the bald one with a tattoo, there's the ginger fat one, there's the old one, there's the young one, there's sleepy, there's grumpy, there's dopey, there's smelly, there's happy, there's drunk, there's monk, there's junk, there's unk, and Smeagol, that confusing you. I'm not going to remember the names, I'll tell you that fucking right now. And I hope that in the next parts they do actually evolve that a little bit. That's the only thing I didn't really like about it. I'm going to get to one thing that, in my opinion, makes this whole film worth it. Like, right now I'm telling you, the movie's fucking worth it, just for this one scene. And it's my favourite scene in the book as well. It's when Bilbo and Smeagol, Gollum is in this, and it is done by Andy Serkis, have their riddle game. Like, in the Lord of the Rings, it never mentions it in the movies, but it does in the books. But I think, I haven't read the books, I've gone with mum, but the person I know who knows the books inside out. But the riddle game is faithful as hell. I love that. I love the interaction between Bilbo and Gollum and Smeagol. It was fucking amazing. Andy Serkis deserves another... I think he won an Oscar for this, but he deserves another one. He was awesome with this. He did his role expertly. He was very Smeagol. There's the precious. The precious. Oh, it was fucking awesome. In my opinion, that scene alone made me go, worth it! In the cinema. I didn't scream that again. It was fucking worth it. Just for that scene alone, it was fucking epic. Mainly because of how well Andy Serkis and the actor who played Bilbo, who I can't remember this, but I'm going to give major props to Andy Serkis because not only does he make you hate Smeagol for, he basically says, I'm going to eat you alive, you fucker. He makes you feel sympathy for him, which is a really good thing about Gollum that I loved in The Lord of the Rings. But in The Hobbit, you feel more sympathy for him because you're like, aww, he's so sad. But then he switches in an instant to that evil little fucker who wants to rip your eyes out and drink your blood. Oh, I loved it. It was awesome just how quickly he can switch between it. Fucking epic. I loved it. Andy Serkis, major props. Well done on that instance. It was, that scene alone made it worth it for me, in my opinion. Just how faithful it is to the book as well, and also how awesome it was. I loved it. It was, my favourite scene in the movie, and definitely made it worth it, in my opinion. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I've got to say on this that hasn't been said already? I really don't get the criticism with this movie. A lot of people are saying it's nothing like Lord of the Rings, the tone's all over the place, and some of the most common complaints is it's too damn long. Here's my advice on that. Of course it's nothing like fucking Lord of the Rings. This was before Lord of the Rings, you jackasses. I don't even think Tolkien planned to write the Lord of the Rings. I could be wrong. I don't know the Tolkien estate. I didn't know Tolkien. He was dead before I was born. But it's not, the tone of this book is nothing like even the first chapter of the Fellowship of the Ring, which is in here. I tell you that right now, even from reading the first chapter, I can tell that the tone of The Hobbit as a movie and a book is completely different from Lord of the Rings books and movies. Fucking sharp about that. Of course it's going to be nothing like the Lord of the Rings. It's based on a children's fucking book. The Hobbit's a child's book. Of course it's not going to be as dramatic as the Lord of the Rings. It still has dramatic scenes in it, but it's fucking awesome. It is definitely really faithful, and also the liberties they take with the source material is very fine and well done. Stop comparing it to Lord of the Rings, you fucking jackasses. Now I'll happily admit, you really do need to see the Lord of the Rings before you see this film, mainly because of a few certain scenes in the film that they try and lead to link The Hobbit to Lord of the Rings, like the witch. This isn't mine. I can't even say it's a spoiler. But there are certain scenes where they try and link Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit together, and they don't do it in the book, I don't think. They don't do it in the book, as I said, my memory's vague on it. Like, the book links nothing to Lord of the Rings beyond the first chapter, and the ring, of course. But shut the fuck up, okay? Stop comparing it to Lord of the Rings. Treat it as its own film. Which I need to get to, actually. Second one, the tone. Of course, the tone's all over the place. That's the same as the book and also the movie. It's funny, it's dramatic, it's very intense in some instances, and really well done. And finally, it's too damn long. Here's my advice for you: if you can't sit through a 3-hour film, don't go fucking see it then. I'm telling you right now, if you can't stand to sit in the same place for 3 hours, don't go see this film, because you'll just be complaining like an ass. Sheesh. It's a 3-hour long film. Sit down, sit your ass down, grab your popcorn, grab your juice, and sit there and get a bladder of steel and don't leave your fucking seat. I just need to get that out of there. It really pisses me off, that bit. Yeah, that's me done with that little rant. I'm going to have to mention one thing. As a movie on its own, The Hobbit doesn't actually do something really well. It doesn't end well. Like, it ends in a cliffhanger, obviously, because those are unaware. This book, which is at most 300 pages, that's the Fellowship of the Ring. This book's only... Where's the hell is the page number, for fuck's sake? 351 pages long. The Lord of the Rings is fucking massive. And they made this into 3 films, which I can understand why. There are 3 distinct acts that they could do in this book, but really it only needs to be 2 films, if I'm going to be honest. Like, you could just do that, take this half, and then make that half into the book. The movies, that would be fine, but it's just more money. It's a bit of money grubbing, but I'm okay with that, I don't mind. if you didn't know there was going to be another one after this film and another one after that, you would be kind of pissed with the ending, because I'm going to be honest, it is a little bit cliffhangery. But that's what it was intended to be. And I'll also say this, for those who are expecting to see Smaug in this film, you're not going to see him until the second film at the earliest, third film at the latest. You do get little glimpses of him, but I do love the fact that they're not showing Smaug in all his glory yet. It's mainly just cut wee glimpses that you're getting of him at the moment. Only really 3 glimpses: his tail, his foot, and his eye. That's it. So don't expect to see Smaug in this. But to answer the simple question, is it worth it or not? If I'm going to be honest, fuck yes. This movie is worth every penny that I paid for. It's one of the few films that I'm actually considering going to see twice in the cinema. It's definitely worth every penny that they're asking for. I loved every single minute of it. It was enjoyable, it was intense, it was awesome, and the music, not as good as Lord of the Rings, but the music was fantastic. I loved it, especially the Lonely Mountain song. I bloody love that song. If you get a chance, have a listen to it on YouTube, or wait and go and see it in the cinema, because it's fucking awesome. I loved it. I loved this movie. It was fantastic. I enjoyed it, every single minute of it. Definitely, in my opinion, it's worth every penny. I will say this right now, it is a long film, and you might want to be cautious if you plan on going to see it, because it is a very long film. And yeah, that's all I can say. It's a long film, so if you gotta go and see it, prepare to be sitting down for the long haul. It's 3 hours long, so get ready for that. I would definitely say this right now, in my opinion, it's worth every penny. Go see it if you haven't already. Definitely fun, definitely enjoyable. If you've got a review of it and you've seen it already, let me know in the comment section down below your review of it, or do a video response and let me know what your thoughts are. I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and I can't wait for part 2, which I think is coming out next year in December, which I'm like, bring it out sooner. Because I loved every minute of it, and I enjoyed it. And I'll tell you right now, for those that I have to say, it's very faithful to the book. It does do a couple of changes, a couple minor and major changes, but it works to the best of their ability. It's absolutely fantastic for that. I love it. It was really, really good. I loved it as an adaptation, and I loved it as a film. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, get off this video, go fucking see it right now. If you've read the book, go see it fucking right now. If you want a good film, go see it fucking right now. I can tell you that right now, you will not waste your money. I will say one thing though. Wait for all 3 films to come out before you buy the DVD, because really, you want the full thing in your collection before you end up watching 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to say that right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm waiting for the full thing to come out before I go and buy it on DVD. But I think that's all I've got to say. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. As always, I'm Scottish192, and I'll see you all later. Ciao for now. Mwah.